Pillars, pillars of franchising. Pillars, pillars, pillars of franchising.
Yes, folks, it's Thursday at 4 p.m. Central. Ray's really excited to be here. I'm Fred McMurray. We're here with Kristen, and this must be Pillars of Franchising. If you hadn't picked it up from our music, man, then you are deaf, but that's okay. Thanks to Greg Markells of the Markells Audio Lab for cutting our own head bashing Pillars of Franchising. So obviously, I'm in a different background. Kristen's eerily in the same background, and Ray is somewhere else. So we'll start out with Ray first. Where are you, Ray? What's the weather like?
Not in my coach, not at home, but I'm with my girlfriend Daisy's brother, Jeremy, at his home because he has good Wi-Fi. And right now, if you're going to ask me about the weather, it's hot, 97 degrees, and it's not humid though. It's still hot, about 16% humidity. So, but enjoying the good company of everyone here, uh, just having a good time.
And where in Arizona are you?
I am in Santan Valley right now.
So how far from that is the coast to California?
500 and I think it's 596 miles or something like that.
In about a day's drive. So maybe we'll see and hear Ray on the Central Coast next week. We'll figure out how next week far away he really is from the Central Coast. So, Kristen, where are you?
Well, behind me is the beautiful town of Bloomingdale, and in front of me is the cute little town of Glendale Heights. But we are in Illinois, the western suburbs. It is a balmy, Ray, 53 degrees. That's what you're missing.
I really would enjoy it.
You're going to race right home, aren't you?
We'll find out next week. And of course, I'm somewhere with Kristen in the same Bloomingdale, Glendale Heights area. So this month is a topic, or this month is the month of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Got it right. Ha 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 ha. Ray can't yell at me for just saying domestic violence. And this is a topic that's near and dear to all Molly Maid owners. And so we're all lucky to have Kristen, who is a board member of the Miss Molly Foundation. So she's one of the big mucky mucks of helping make people aware of domestic violence. Ooh, how's that?
That was good. No tongue trips, nothing. Yes, where's little? Good job, Fred.
Thank you. So now we've had Fred's accolades, and he's all happy about this. Tell us what's going on in the domestic violence awareness world.
Well, as you said, again, this month, October, is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Also, interestingly enough, I found out just today why I didn't hear this through the schools, I don't know. But it's also National Bullying Prevention Month, which I find so interesting because the two are really closely tied to one another. And so this month is the month that all of our Molly Maid owners, there's about 95%, 90 to 95% participation right now amongst all of the owners across the United States, participating in domestic violence awareness through our Ms. Molly Foundation. We're out there making sure that we talk to the customers, whether it be through emails, memos, Facebook posts, through the cleaning ladies themselves. We're getting the word out about it. We're providing donations or asking our customers for donations, whether they're monetary, whether they're products. One thing that people always tend to overlook, are consumable products like paper goods and things for the shelters. So when the women or men and their children come in, they have consumable products that they can use while they're there. Um, and so that's kind of what this month is all about, and really trying to make sure that it's not such a big secret and that people aren't embarrassed to share their stories and to get the help that they really need before, God forbid, it's too late.
Yes.
Ray, you want to take the next question?
Well, I guess it's really not a question because I just need to let everybody know that in the Aurora area, where my business is located, we have Mutual Ground, and Mutual Ground had their yearly Walk for Hope at the last Sunday of last month. And I think about half my employees showed up for that because it's obviously a volunteer thing. And we had a ball. It was a lot of fun talking to all the people and, raising awareness across the area. And really the key word here is not domestic violence, it's the awareness part, because it's amazing how many people I talk to, and they don't know that there is help available, and there is a path to escape the violence that you're being forced into. Many people, and I wrote down some information. Why don't people want to escape? You know, the situation they're in, and apparently the first one is marriage. They're afraid, of being, it's going to affect their marriage. Next one is children. The next one is their homes. They're afraid of losing their homes. And believe it or not, I was a little surprised that this one was pets. They're afraid, that they're going to be away from their beloved pet. And then the last one I found was finances. So it's it's a devastating thing. Um, One of the things that I want to make uh, our audience, who are business owners, aware of is be cognizant of your employees. If they're not showing up and not calling in, what is the reason? And just don't start thinking the negative part. Thinking what's behind it. Why aren't they calling in? Why are they showing up as a shiner? And I bumped into a door is not usually the right answer. So I'm sure that Kristen can verify this. That you've had, I've had employees, who appear to be misbehaving for not showing up, only to turn out that they're having some problems at home.
Yep, absolutely. Like you, Ray, I always try to do a little bit of research before we start a show, not because I don't already have it embedded in my head and you think about it every day, especially with what we do. But, for years and years, we've been talking about this and we talk about, oh, 1 in 4 people either are affected or know somebody. And today I was pulling up the stats and now it's jumped to 1 in 3 people. So
Yeah.
1 in 3 women and then more than 1 in 4 men in the US report having experienced rape, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime. And so
That's
for
right.
me, I was a little taken aback while Fred was testing the system and getting ready for the show. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's gone up. And then I kept digging in and I found out that the National Domestic Violence Hotline, which is an easy number to remember, it's 800-779-SAFE, um, actually in June took their 5 millionth phone call of people calling 5 million people in the US. That was as of June,
Wow.
um, that they took the 5 millionth call for people seeking help and advice. And um, I also found out that there's an app out there for that, for people who feel like they may be in that situation, but they're not quite sure. And they feel like they're a victim, but maybe they're not. And they need to have kind of some feedback and an anonymous place to go. And there's an app called My Plan. It's available on the App Store and in Google Play. It's free. It is anonymous. You complete the survey, you put in your information, you complete the survey, and what it will do is it will spit information back to you and give you a risk level. Do they think that you're at mild risk? Are you at high risk? And by the way, here are the resources that you should go to. So I was really excited. And for almost everything else we do, there's an app for that. So I was really glad to see that even for domestic violence awareness,
Mhm.
there's an app for that. So um, the number of I have high school kids now, right? And so the number of high school incidents have been on the rise.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and all of our kids, at least mine, are glued to their cell phones. So I know this will be a conversation that, though I don't anticipate my strong-willed daughter
Mhm.
getting herself in a situation like that. I mean, I certainly, my strong will didn't expect to get into a situation like that, but I have to tell her, hey, make sure you know that this app's out there. Tell your girlfriends about it. And again, like you said, it's not about the domestic violence part so much as it is the awareness part and making
No,
sure.
Ray said that. I was going to object to that, but Ray said that.
Oh, Ray said it. Okay. Well, either way.
So I was going to go back. We've now defined the awareness part of it. Um, what is domestic violence? Is it one act where one spouse bruises another spouse? Um, is it ongoing? Is it yelling? Is it um, telling them
Yeah,
that the food is bad?
yeah.
What is domestic violence?
Everything you mentioned, it can be everything. And anytime a person feels threatened, whether it's physical, or whether it's verbal, financial, you know, just
Mental, emotional,
yeah.
financial is a big one that it's interesting. I've had a few people talk to me about the financial abuse, and I'm like, what? Financial abuse? What are you talking about? And then you hear the stories, and you're like, oh wow, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
So if I'm scared of something, that could be domestic violence. Ooh,
Uh,
man, I
uh,
just added on to the heart attack story even better.
yeah, but if you're scared of the zombies coming over, I don't think that qualifies
Right,
as domestic violence.
right, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, some other things that I think is very what's the word I'm looking for? Disturbing, I guess. Maybe that's why I couldn't spit out the word, is how many children are affected by it. And children who witness it, who are a part of it, wind up being 4 to 5 times more likely to do it to their partners and their spouses
That's
later on in
correct.
life.
Yeah, that's correct. Well,
So,
let's spout a few more statistics. I looked up this past year, 1.3 million women were affected by domestic violence, and 835,000 men, which is, you know, kind of surprising. I have a feeling that both these statistics, but especially for men, are underreported simply because men have the ego that, you know, that it is part of our DNA that we're not going to admit to being abused in any way by anyone.
yep. Well, and I actually did read that. I was reading a CDC report again before the show, and they talked about underreporting in men. And I think that in some ways we may see that number increase in the near future, certainly as different lifestyles and preferences become more mainstream. I think you'll see more of that number jump because people won't feel so intimidated by coming forward. Um, and I hope that it does. We dealt this weekend with a situation, bye girls, excuse me, with some elder concerns in a nursing home. And I think, for a lot of people who are around our age group, um, we have parents who are starting to age. And, this weekend we visited someone in a nursing home. And as I was looking through the elder abuse, I was like, oh my gosh, that's a little bit questionable. And there's a lot of resources out there online. You know, even 10, 15 years ago, the resources weren't available. The internet wasn't as robust as it is today. But for those of you who have loved ones in nursing care facilities, there are a lot of signs to look for. And, ours happen to be very physical signs that you could see that make you question what might be going on. But there's certainly changes in appetites, changes in their personality and the way they react to things. So I would certainly suggest that everybody really take time. Just because your loved one may be in a facility doesn't mean that they're always okay.
That's right. Yeah, that happens quite often, as a matter of fact. But
Yeah.
one of the things I wanted to mention, some people may think, I have a feeling we're about to have a commercial.
Yeah.
Yes, my friend. Very good.
Go for it, Fred.
We want to thank the Link Local Network for broadcasting our show. You can dial in at 323-580-5755. That's 323-580-5755. Soon you'll be able to watch the live stream in the website. We're working on that as well as improving audio all the time. Uh, we want to tell you that you can also listen to the show at pillarsoffranchising.com and send a chat through. We're watching all the people that are already there. Uh, so say something, folks. We love it when you give questions. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Hey, franchise owners, how's your local marketing? Do you feel like you could use some help keeping up with your social media posts and comments and reviews? Do you wonder if you could be doing more to attract local customers? Are you able to identify new move-ins to your local area? At Westvyne, we help franchisees like you reach more local customers through digital marketing. With daily monitoring, creative content, and ad placement, and customer data intelligence, we'll get your business in front of the people who want your products or services. We also work with franchisors who need an agency to handle the digital marketing for all of their locations. If you're ready to reach more local customers, give us a call at 805-265-5440 or visit us at westvyne.com. That's 805-265-5440 or westvyne with a y.com.
Ever wonder how successful business people get educated about franchise business options? The Franchise Consulting Company is a group of over 100 franchise professionals with more than 2,000 years of franchise experience. We help our clients select and investigate franchise companies. And like a realtor, our services are free of charge to you. Our fees are paid by the seller. Reach out to us to learn more and get a free copy of the Franchise MBA, the #1 bestseller and highest reviewed book on Amazon in the franchise category. Our website is thefranchiseconsultingcompany.com, or feel free to call us on 800-321-6072.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Michelle. As a reminder, you can get the same, and I didn't bring it with me because other people are reading it. Actually, I have too much paper in my laptop bag, so I don't have my copy of the Franchise MBA. But if you go to pillarsoffranchising.com, you can fill out the form, and we'll get you the copy out, and you don't have to call and talk to anybody. So we'll get you the same wonderful book from Nick, and life's all good. We're back talking about Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So,
Yeah. I just wanted to point out to everybody, I am older than dirt because I've got the official hat from Sedona, and this is Sedona red hat, so anyway, one of the things
and I'm a solvent problemer. Yes, I know.
one of the things I did want to point out is many people may be afraid to get counseling or to talk to their friend or neighbor to get counseling because they're afraid it's going to break up the family. But that is not always the case because I know in the case of Mutual Ground, they provide a tremendous amount of counseling to keep the family together because right now, children without a father is one of the worst things that can happen to a family. Um, And it's not always the case where the family needs to break up, or the husband or whomever needs to go to jail. They do try to save things, and of course, going to jail and lawsuits and all that, that's the very end result. If things can't be corrected.
Yeah, here in Chicago, well, now in metropolitan Chicago, but also a little bit further east, Family Shelter Service also offers a lot of counseling. And, I think you have a really good point. There are certain aspects, I'll call it certain degrees of abuse that can be solved with counseling. We talked briefly about how some of these things come about from children who experienced it when they were younger and they then become the perpetrator. Well, in a lot of ways, those folks, if given the proper um, care, counseling, things of that nature, can be rehabilitated, so to speak.
Right.
And so it's not always something that you need to have somebody arrested and thrown in jail. And to your point, I think that in some ways, a family may become stronger if they can get past that. Now, I'm not a clinical psychologist, and I certainly am not in the Justice Department. So that comment I made is just purely my optimistic opinion and thought on, really, it's like any problem you have within your family. If you can grow and move past it, it tends to make your bond stronger. So perhaps that could happen. We certainly hope so. We don't believe that, having people arrested and families divided is the right solution, and neither do these shelters that are providing all this assistance. Um, there are some things, I want to give one more shout out again, just to remind people who haven't been listening the whole time, that the number for domestic violence assistance is 1-800-779-SAFE. So for those of you who don't like to spell things out on the phone, that's 800-799. No, I said it's 779, right? Oh my gosh, I wrote it down too. 7233.
You want to try that once more?
No. No, I don't. Thank you for asking.
It's late on Thursday. I'm fine with that.
But I will tell you, Ray prompted some of our small business owners out there, and I've said it on the show in the past, and I'll say it again. I think one of the best things you could do for your business is really become part of the fabric of your community. And if domestic violence awareness is something that interests you, that you think is a good cause for your employee base, nomore.org is a great organization. The Ms. Molly Foundation and a lot of us also belong to nomore.org. They have kits available. They call them toolkits. Actually, you can find those right on their website, and they have everything from pledge sheets. If you guys all recall back when some of the professional athletes had been in some trouble and they ran the No More campaign, people held up their signs, said no more, whatever their no more abuse, no more negative talk, no more shoving, whatever your phrase was. They have those available, and they have a whole kit of how to integrate domestic violence awareness into your business and really start to use it as a tool to become more ingrained in the communities that you serve. So,
No more cardboard signs?
do you want a cardboard sign? I've got one right behind the door, but I don't know what's on it.
No, I'm from California. We don't do plastic or cardboard or anything like that.
You need a dry erase board. That's what you need.
Yeah, that's
Three, but that's okay. I'm
Yeah.
in my office. So that
just to give people an idea how little information is out there about this. Nobody wants to talk about it, and that's one of the reasons that when I started my business, I wanted to pick up this particular item. To give you an idea, I was in a upper middle class home doing an estimate, and I got into the part of my spiel about what we do as far as the Miss Molly Foundation. And this lady began to cry profusely. And I said, I'm sorry, you know, I didn't want to make you cry, but what seems to be the problem? She says, I didn't know anything like this was available. And she said her neighbor had been experiencing some problems, and she wanted to talk to her. But so it doesn't, and also another thing, it affects all walks of life, upper, middle, lower, no matter what race you are, and as we made aware, gender doesn't seem to it crosses all gender lines, and so it's something that people need to talk about more, and they're not.
Hmm. Yep. So you can always find more information about, ways to help. And you can also, if you're out there and you want to contribute to the cause, again, the Miss Molly Foundation is running our huge drive this month. And you can go to www.mollymaid.com, and there'll be a big button right on there for the Miss Molly Foundation. And you can make donations right through our website. You can certainly contact your local Molly Maid franchise, and they'd be happy to take a donation for you as well. And again, it's just whether you're a consumer out there listening to the show or you're a business out there that wants to get involved in the community, this is a great cause, and it's something that affects not only today's adults, but it affects our young people. It affects tomorrow's adults. It truly is a generational disease. It is a huge problem. And, we've talked in the past again that it doesn't have barriers. There are no financial barriers. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what social class you are or financial class you are. It really has no boundaries. So, I would encourage everyone that if you're looking for something to get involved in, this is something that will certainly make a difference and help the people in your community.
All right. So now we'll switch from Domestic Violence Awareness Month to some fun stuff, as one of our favorite guests here can give us an update on her growth. And you had a new experience recently, didn't you?
I always have new experiences.
Yeah.
Which one are you
Walking into a certain club.
You're not supposed to blindside me like this. What club did I walk?
There's a TV.
Walking the clubs all the time, so which one?
What are you talking about? Oh, I know. Okay, this is what happens when you take people like me and you try to speak like figuratively. And I'm thinking you're talking like I walked into this building in a club, and I'm thinking I'm kind of past the clubbing days, really, but okay. Yes, I did. I entered into the $1 Million Club as a business owner. Thank you. Yes. And the funniest thing about that is, just as I tell you that, the school's calling for one of my kids. So they'll have to call my husband.
So what I'm hearing is even with kids, you become a million.
Yes, even with, them missing the bus and forgetting the water bottle and somebody's in trouble, and it's always something. But yeah, actually we did. This business has acquired 2 other franchises in the last, over the course of 11 months. And so we are working really hard at making sure that the level of services that we've been providing along for our core customers have continued to hold a high standard. We have acquired a lot of commercial business, which has been great, and we've got a lot more to tackle.
Commercial? Isn't that? Does Molly Maid do commercial?
This one does. Now, remember, because I do get these calls, right? So people say, well, if you do commercial, can't you do this? Well, no, that's industrial. Oh, well, what about, can you do this? And some people also have the idea or thought that all commercial business has to be done overnight. But that's not necessarily true either. So we've tried to find ways to overcome obstacles for the business owners and for our employees and come up with a real win-win situation, to use old school terms, right? Wasn't that like a cool word used a long time ago?
It was,
Win-win,
yes.
win-win. So we try to find ways to make sure that we can satisfy their needs and the needs of our girls to be home with their families. So we've got all different kinds of shifts that run. Nothing crazy, but it certainly has allowed us to take on some new, interesting business these past several months. We've got three fairly large commercial buildings that we've been doing now for, we just signed the 4th-year contract on. So, so we've got it down now, you
Well,
know.
good.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Wow.
So you're crushing the Chicagoland area by growth and commercial.
No.
Ray.
So you already know I'm very modest, and we are not by far even Ray has the ticket for the, number one guy.
Yeah, Ray's in Sedona right now. I
Yeah,
mean, you
and
know,
I'm here in 3-degree weather.
we
so.
see who's working hard here.
Yes, yes. We're still in building mode, right? So,
Exactly. Ray's like,
That's the garage. That's the garage. You know that.
well,
Building those.
now Ray did start 4 years, I think we said before me, right? Did you start two?
Yeah, we started in 2003.
Okay, so he's got 4 years on me. So 4 years, who knows where I could be?
and he's got a couple of more years with me. So, you know,
Yeah.
it all works in there.
But it's not all, lollipops and rainbows, right? I mean, yay, you're doing great things. The business, yeah, it's, as anybody knows, and most of our listeners are probably small business owners, it comes with more gray hair, and it comes with more wrinkles, and it comes with a lot more work, and really, when you grow your business in large increments like that, um, the integrity of what you've built initially becomes really important. And so when you make a transition, and you acquire clients, existing clients from other people, there's a great period of time in which you need to get to know them. They need to get to know you. Sometimes some of the promises that were made by the previous owner just can't be made by me because it's a no-win situation, and so I always make sure that myself and my employees act with really high level of integrity and are just honest with people. And if we can service them, great, and if we can't, we are a great company, but we're not a company for everyone. There are some clients that we have to say, we just can't satisfy that need, and nobody's going to be successful. And so I think that when you get excited and you do an expansion, it's really important that you're honest with yourself in terms of your preparation, in terms of long-term planning, short-term planning, staffing, which for businesses like Ray and I, we really, staffing can be a stinger. A lot of businesses with kind of the mid to low level worker, those are tough right now. And we're all facing minimum wage increases. That's going to be slapping us in the face really, really soon. The first one coming January 1st. So, all businesses, a lot of small businesses out there listening now, if you're not in a state that has just approved a increase in the minimum wage, you will be soon, I'm sure, because one usually follows the next.
But just wait. If everyone does what California's doing, you'll have to worry about IRAs and 401ks for everyone. Doesn't that make you feel good?
I do 401ks for my girls. And I do PTO.
PTO's different, but that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, in Illinois now we have to do that. So it's really interesting. For a lot of years, and I don't know about you, Ray, for a lot of years I kind of ignored all of the changes in legislature and things that were coming. And this past year, making these acquisitions, it was like, oh my gosh, like I feel fortunate that I had some HR background going into this, and I don't consider myself to be super savvy, but there's so much going on. And if you don't spend time as small business people investing true time to read and study and get up to speed, and in some ways react or preact to what's changing out there, you're really going to get yourself in a sticky spot. Um, again, Illinois with PTO changes is a big one, you know.
Yeah.
So there's a whole nother show on those kinds of things you could do.
No,
Sticky
yeah.
spots, that's a different.
I've-
Then they
I've
tell you,
always-
right?
I've always tried to be proactive in that, and, you know, we've done a lot of the things that are, did you even do another commercial or something?
No,
No,
we're,
he said something that he was trying to, we glossed over it. Yes.
Oh, okay.
so,
Yeah.
do you
Oh,
want,
anyway, we've kind of, one of the things I do want to mention though, is to business owners out there is, make sure that you have good ethics in your business, because it's becoming more and more important as, the job situation, or the employment situation becomes tighter and tighter and tighter. You need to treat your employees right. You need to offer what's available out there. And it could be, you know, if you're a small business, it could be something as simple as greeting them every morning when you walk in, to the larger businesses of providing them with the, you know, the things that are available out there to help them in their daily lives.
so now that you've said that, you want to ask your last question?
What would that be?
Dude, how long we been doing this?
Shall I ask Kristen if they are in Kristen's Molly Maid territory? Kristen, how does a person get a hold of you to get their home cleaned?
Well, I'll give you our local number, but I'll tell you because Chicago's such a tight-knit group and because Molly Maid is everywhere throughout the country, the best way to get a hold of me or any Molly Maid for service would be 1-800-MOLLY-MAID. If you're interested in connecting with me directly, specifically, our phone number is 630-529-9044. And you can also find me on LinkedIn at Kristen.Shalmetzi. And where else can they find me? On Facebook, Molly Maid of Bloomingdale and Mount Prospect.
And they can probably find reviews on the Google Plus, or the Google My Business page.
Yes, lots of Googles out there. Or the
Of course,
Googles.
there's a franchising. You're listed there as
That's
well
right.
as I am. You know, so if anybody wants to talk about Molly Maid or business in general, I'm happy to converse with them.
Yep, absolutely.
And we'll be back, same pillars time, same pillar station next week. More interesting guests, more funny comments.
More interesting?
All right, not more.
Damn, and I was right in my face too, Fred.
Sorry, you're still one of my favorite guests, so you know.
Absolutely.
I got that going.
You're one of my favorite emergency co-hosts too. So it's all good there. So folks, we'll see you next week on Pillars of Franchising. Listen and leave comments at pillarsoffranchising.com.
Travel safe.
Bye all.